Today we're back to talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Bristol on Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday before the Cup Series race even gets started because I have no chance of uh, filming this tomorrow or probably even tonight. So I just decided to get it out of the way now. I've done a ton of research this morning preparing for it, and I'm ready to go. I know a lot of you probably aren't thinking about it yet, but hopefully you're watching it before the race, before the Xfinity race, and you're going to be prepared. And hopefully we're all going to have a really good day in the Cup Series today. Before we get started with driver by driver, I always like to go over track trends. And for the Xfinity Series at Bristol, it's been a pretty solid place differential track. As you can see, five drivers have advanced 10 plus positions in the past 2 years of races at Bristol. The average place differential is 6.68 for Xfinity Series. That's pretty good. This is a track where you're going to want to have two dominators again. It's just like the Cup Series, although sometimes you want three or maybe even four in a lineup. But this one is going to be two because if you look, the most laps led has been 145.75, and the second most laps led is 80.5. That's averaging out in the last 2 years at Bristol. And even for short tracks, you can see 155.41 and 62 for the second most laps led. The third most laps led, 35.25. Depending on the driver, if it's like a cheaper driver, that might be someone you want to get to, but if it's someone more expensive that you only think is going to lead like 35 laps, it just might not be it unless they're going to finish in like the top two or three. If you can look, we get to look at where this driver started. So the most laps led average star is 4.25, and the second most laps led average star is 2.5. So that tells you that, I mean, really, it looks like top five starting position drivers are the drivers most likely to lead laps. But I can also see where drivers that start inside the top 10 can lead a ton of laps. And I mean, even if we're going to start the first driver, Chase Briscoe, he's always just someone who has potential to lead a ton of laps. But I think your best bet to find drivers that are going to lead the most laps are going to be inside the top five starting positions, and we're going to get to those drivers in a few minutes. All right, so let's get ready to go driver by driver. The first driver we're going to go over is Chase Briscoe at 12,000, starting 11th. Chase Briscoe at Bristol, it hasn't been like his best track, but he still ranks out 5th in the field out of everybody. It's just compared to some of the other drivers that we're going to get to, he's just not as good. And I don't really know if he's my favorite dominator play for the top guy who's just not as good at Bristol. But he does have a track average of 9.66, which ranks 5th, and a short track type average of 9.5, which ranks 8th, an average running position of 14.475, which ranks 11th. That's at Bristol. See, that's a little concerning. 14.475 ranking 11th as the top price driver. It's a little scary to me. I don't know if I'm going to go full fade on Briscoe, but he's just not the guy I'm really looking for today. However, coming into to this race, Chase Briscoe has been the best Xfinity regular by far this year. He already has 2 wins in the series, and he was doing really well at Charlotte before he wrecked out. Coming in, he has an average finish of 9.4 in his last 5, average running position is 6.32 in his last 5, 29.5 quality passes. He only ranks out as my 8th best driver, though. And to have someone rank out as your 8th best driver, that is $12,000, the highest price driver on Draftkings, makes you a little worried, makes you a little think you might want to fade him a little bit. He's not going to be my favorite play of the week. I'm not really excited to play a ton of Chase Briscoe, but he's someone that I'm never going to tell you not to play, not to get to him. He does have PD upside, and maybe he's just going to get out the front and win. Maybe with no Reddick, Custer, and Bell in the series anymore, maybe he's just going to dominate this whole year, and even the short tracks. Up next, we got Justin Allgaier, 11,600. He starts 10th today at Bristol, or tomorrow. Bristol's actually been a really good track for Justin Allgaier, and I feel like I say that about Justin Allgaier every single week. It's been a really good track for him, and then some stupid crap happens and it ruins his race. It's been a really unlucky season for Allgaier. He's ran well. He fell all the way to the back of the pack at Charlotte and found his way in the top 5, I believe. If not, it was top 10 to finish by the end of the race. But for Bristol, he's been really good. Track average of 4.33, that ranks 2nd, and the type average of 4.3, which ranks 2nd. So short tracks overall, just Justin Allgaier's just been so good at them. Average running position at Bristol is 5.75, which ranks 1st. Average running position at short tracks is 5.43, which ranks 1st. So that just shows you Justin Allgaier has just been so good at these short tracks. And I don't see any reason to fade him. And he's 400 cheaper than Chase Briscoe. I know Allgaier's had a lot of bad luck, but when he's not having the bad luck, he's running really well. So I don't see why him getting out front and leading this race is a problem. He may not be the highest lap sled guy, but you see the second most lap sled is something that could totally be in the cards for Justin Allgaier today. I can see him leading a bunch of laps. I can see him winning a race. He grades out as my 2nd best driver, actually 3rd. He grades out as my 3rd best driver today. But I mean, you're going to see 2nd is, don't pay attention to those grades. But Justin Allgaier, you're going to want him to get, I mean, he has some PD upside, but you're going to still need him to get laps, pay off that salary. But I think he's definitely a threat to win. he's been, I mean, his average running position in the last 5 has been 6.84, so that does show you that he has been running well. It's just finishes just may not have shown. He just hasn't been able to get up front and win the race, clearly, but it's coming soon. I mean, he's still one of the best top 3 drivers in the Xfinity Series and one of the best rides. He's going to get his win soon. Here up next is AJ Allmendinger. We haven't seen him race this year. We actually haven't seen him race at a short track in the past 2 years in the Xfinity Series. So he comes in as the 3rd highest driver. I'm not so sure how excited I am about him. Draftkings priced him up because of his 27 price salary. And in the past, Allmendinger's ran a lot of races for Penske Racing, but today he's not going to. He's racing for Colleague Racing, which if you're unfamiliar with that, they roster cars for Ross Chastain and Justin Haley. So he's in a good ride. It's not a top-tier ride in the Xfinity Series, but it is a good ride. To pay off his salary, AJ Allmendinger does need to finish in the top 8, and I'm a little bit worried about that for not someone that's really a regular in the Xfinity Series. We see him come around every once in a while. I'm not too high on him. I'm interested to see what his ownership's going to be at because he is starting in the back, and he's the only one starting in the back out of all these top-tier drivers, as you can see. So, I don't really know if I'd consider AJ Allmendinger a top-tier driver. I think he's a little overpriced. If he was in like 10,000, I think that'd be a different story. I'm not huge on Allmendinger today. I think he could be a good play. He definitely has the potential. He has so much PD upside, but if you're just looking at the drivers around him, all these guys can just lead laps, and it may not even matter. They all just might beat him just based off lap sled and fastest laps, just because Bristol's such a small track, and there's so many more laps led, or so many more laps overall. 2 be led and 2 have fast laps. Up next, we have Ross Chastain, which I suggested on my Twitter. I didn't have a YouTube video for his race because I couldn't get out, but if you do follow me on Twitter, I do post for the videos I can't make. I do post my plays in there in a little thread on Twitter every week or every race. And Ross Chastain was someone I talked about Charlotte, which nobody else was really talking about. I felt pretty good getting that one right. It's just the rest of my lineups didn't really work out with drivers around him in that wreck on all the wrecks in Charlotte. But Chastain was dominating that race. This is another race I can see him dominating. I mean, he hasn't been the best at Bristol, a 10.5 average finish, which ranks 9th, and only the 10th best average at short tracks. But Chastain, I think, is better than a lot of these guys in the field, and he's in a fast car, and everyone doesn't give Colleague Racing the credit, but Ross Chastain, the Colleague Racing cars are pretty good, and Ross Chastain has showed the speed this year. I mean, coming in, he's got an average finish of 7.8, average run position of 7.36. He's someone that's going to have to lead laps, and I don't know if I consider him one of my favorite dominator choices here, but he's still somebody who it has the potential, and I feel like it's just going to be lower owned than some of these other guys down here, especially when you get to Harrison, Burton, and Cindric. Up next, we have Noah Gragson, starts 9th, 10,300 on DraftKings. Short tracks for Gragson have not been his strong suit. Track average of 13th, which ranks 11th. Type average of 7.5, which ranks 4th. So, I mean, there's other short tracks have been good, but Bristol itself, maybe not the best. He has run well at Bristol, the 4th best average running position, just the finishes have not shown up for him. So that does show you, in my opinion, the potential that he has. But if you're paying for Noah Gragson 10,300, you want him to get up front and lead laps. And do we really think that Noah Gragson's going to do that at this race? I'm just not 100% sure when he's surrounded by guys like Allgaier, Hemrick, Burton, Cindric. Like, those guys, I think, are the better chances to lead laps than Noah Gragson. I still feel like he'll probably be lower owned. There's a little bit of PD upside if he can get up into that top 3 or 4. He's a fine play. I'm not going to tell you not to play Noah Gragson in a really good car for Junior Motorsports, but I don't feel like he has the best potential to do as good as the other guys. Noah Gragson has been running well this season though. Average finish in the last 5 races of 5.4, and the average running position is 7.08. Quality passes are there. He can get up through the field. I like Gragson today. Not the best play. Noah Gragson always feels like he's a little overpriced on DraftKings, and it just doesn't ever feel like he's the guy to play. I'm sure that day will come soon, but I don't know if I'm really going to be going to Noah Gragson. Up next, we have Daniel Hemrick at 10,000. Daniel Hemrick is an interesting one for me. Starts 8th, but Hemrick has been so good at these tracks, man. Average finish of 3rd at Bristol, which ranks 1st, and average finish of 3rd at short tracks, which ranks 1st, an average running position of 6th at short tracks, or at Bristol, which ranks 2nd, average running position of 6.283 at Bristol, which ranks 3rd, 28.5 quality passes at Bristol and 21.83 at short tracks. And coming in, Hemrick's been good this year. He has an average finish of 5, average running position of 8.975, 20.25 quality passes. He's been solid this year, and he coming off a 2nd place finish at Charlotte last week. Hemrick is someone that could totally get up front and lead laps. I mean, he's not someone I'm ever really usually choosing to lead laps, but he's just been so good at Bristol that I mean, and short tracks as a whole, that he's definitely someone who can get up there, and he's in that top 10 range of drivers who can get up front and lead the laps. I don't know if he's going to be the highest lap leader or a dominator, but he has the potential to, and he's someone I'd like going to. I feel like I'd rather play him than Noah Gragson and maybe even Ross Chastain. My favorite play probably is going to be Harrison Burton, though. Or maybe Cindric. Both. I'm going to talk about both these guys together. Burton and Cindric, I mean, like I said, we went down and looked at track trends and how all the laps led are from really the top 5. And these are the 2 guys in the top 5, two of the top 5 stars that I really like. Harrison Burton in the Gibbs cars. Gibbs has just been really fast. He was struggling at Charlotte last week, but they were able to figure that car out, and he was able to come home with a good finish. Harrison Burton's a talented driver at the short tracks. He has an average finish at 10th that ranks 6th among all drivers, but an average position at the short tracks of 6.66, which ranks 3rd. He has an average running position of 6.8, which ranks 3rd at Bristol, and an average running position at short tracks is 6.2, which ranks 2nd. And he has 57 quality passes and 43.3 quality passes at short tracks. So Harrison Burton, starting on the pole, should be able to run away with the lead early, in my opinion. I think he should get off to the early lead. He's going to have Brandon Jones, who's outside his teammate, but I think Burton's just a better driver. I think that car's been faster this year. I really like Harrison Burton. He's been running great this year. He's one of the better drivers in the series and probably the best car in the series. So, I don't see any reason why. Harrison Burton's probably going to be chalky. Everyone's going to start the pole sitter at Bristol. That's what you do. But he's just a great play. I mean, I don't see a lot of downside to him. I see him getting out front and leading a bunch of laps early. You need 2 dominators, and he's not even expensive. Like, he's not like Allgaier or Briscoe salary. Like, he's down here. He's below Hemrick, Gragson, Chastain. I'd rather play him even if he was more expensive than those 3. So, I mean, I think Harrison Burton should be more expensive. I think he will be after this race. I think he's a good pick to win the race, in all honesty. Up next, we have Austin Cindric, another guy I just really like. He starts 3rd, 9,400. Average finish of 9.25, which ranks 4th at Bristol. An average finish of 7.7, which ranks 5th at short tracks. Average running position of 9.2, which ranks 6th at Bristol. An average running position of 6.58, which ranks 4th for short tracks. He's been really good here. He's definitely someone who can get up and dominate. He was doing really, really well at Charlotte last week. He lost to Kyle Busch. Like, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's Kyle freaking Busch. He's he's the best Xfinity driver of all time. But he should have probably finished 2nd there, but he overdrove the last turn and finished 3rd. That's fine. He had a really good run at Charlotte. He's average finish of 4 in the last 5. Average run position of 5.48 in the last 5. That's the best of all the drivers in both those stats. He looks great. Great dominator choice. Cindric's a really good driver. He seemed to do well at short tracks over his career. We all know him for his road course, but short track's been a good strength for him. I really like him here. He's definitely someone, if you even want to just pair Harrison Burton and Austin Cindric and think these 2 are going to lead all the laps, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They're definitely good dominator choices. I don't think in past Xfinity races this year, I thought there were a bunch of drivers that I could see dominating, but really I see Burton, Cindric, maybe Hemrick, and Allgaier, and I think that's really it. I don't think anyone else. I guess maybe Brandon Jones starting 2nd at 9,100, but Jones really hasn't been as great at short tracks as these 2, so I think I'd just rather play them. He's got an average finish of 10.33, which ranks 8th. Average finish at short tracks of 9, which ranks 7th. Average running position of 9.1, which ranks 5th at Bristol. Average running position of 11.6, which ranks 8th at short tracks. 35 quality passes at Bristol, 29 at short tracks. Jones in a good car. Gibbs is the best in the Xfinity series, in my opinion. I don't understand why these 2 aren't priced higher, but if you look at Burton, Cindric, and Jones, they're all in the same price range, and I just don't think Jones is as good at these tracks as, I don't even think he's as good of a driver as Burton and Cindric. So I just don't see any reason to play him over them other than he's probably going to be lesser owned. I'm still going to have my fair share of Brandon Jones because he definitely has dominator potential. I mean, he is starting 2nd, top 5 driver in a really good car, but I just feel like Burton's the better pick here to lead the opening laps. Coming into this race, Jones does have a win at Phoenix earlier this year, but I mean, overall hasn't really been running that great. 10.8 average finish, 9.88 in the average running position, 30.75 quality passes. He's a good pick. I'm not going to tell you not to pick him, but I mean, I just would rather play Cindric and Burton in that price range. Up next, we have Alex Labbe, starting 32. I think that's how you say his last name. It could be Lab. I'm really not sure. He starts 32nd. 8,900 is just a lot to pay for Alex Labbe. I mean, it's like the last race and he was in the 9K range, but he started like 37th. He's starting 32nd here. So, I mean, I get the appeal. He's got an average finish of 17th at Bristol, which ranks 13th. An average finish of 18.33 at short tracks, which ranks 15th. An average running position of, see, this one's a problem. 24.233 at short tracks. That ranks 17th. And an average running position at short tracks of 22.08, which ranks 15th. and the quality passes haven't been there, like 0.66 and 3.14. So like that doesn't tell me that Alex Labby's gonna have an easy time getting through the field here. He does need to finish top 16 to pay off that salary, and he hasn't even averaged. He's averaged behind 16 for the season. None of his stats here were below 16, so I don't feel like Alex Labby is just a great play. If you want to play him for that positional upside, he can get there, but the fact that he really hasn't run too well at Bristol, and maybe he's got some luck in the end with his finishes, and the quality passes just are not there, it doesn't paint a great picture for me. I'm probably not going to go to Alex Labby just because I can pay $200 more for Brandon Jones, or even really just go down here to 8,700 for Jeremy Clements, starts 29th. He's got an average finish of 10th at Bristol, which ranks 6th, an average finish of 13.55, which ranks 12th at short tracks, 14.4 average running position, which ranks 10th, average running position of 16.6, which ranks 13th at short tracks. So those are good numbers. They're better than Alex Labby, and he's $200 cheaper. For Jeremy Clements to pay off his salary, he needs to get top 14 though, so that is the little bit more of a difference. I mean, he's averaging 17.66 in the last 5, 17.46 in the last 5 for average running position. At least the quality passes are there more than Labby. Like, if you're going to make me choose between Labby and Clements, I'm choosing Clements. But I just, to pay off his salary, he needs a top 14, and he really has never shown that he could be a top 14 driver. He's finished inside the top 14 as an average, but his, like, average running position, which I think paints more of a picture, in all honesty, is not that high. So, Clements is not my guy here. I really am not just not looking to play these guys. And when you go to Bristol in both series, it's a lot of laps. There's gonna be a lot of laps led, a lot of fastest laps for Draftkings. The PD upside is just not as important for tracks like Bristol. So, I mean, if the PD upside gets important when you get down to like the 7K, 6K range, but for 8K range, you want guys leading laps and getting fastest laps. All right, Jeffrey Earnhardt's up next. Don't play Jeffrey Earnhardt. I don't understand why DraftKings has him priced at 8,400. It's because last year he ran on a good team. He would run well always and start in the back. But now he's racing for, I don't even know the team's name, but it's the team that David Starr used to race, the number 0 car. They're not good. They're not fast. As you can see, he's got an average finish in the last 5 races of 24, an average running position of 26.9. And he starts 18th. Like, you really think he's going to get past? He needs a top 10 to pay off that salary. And that number 0 car, do you really think he's going to finish in the top 10? No. I can pretty much guarantee you he's not. Jeffrey Earnhardt will not be a top 10 driver tomorrow. I don't know why he's priced that high. DraftKings made a mistake there. I feel the same way about Jesse Little, starting 15th. He's another one who I have no data for him at these tracks. But let me see something real quick. No data for Jesse Little. That's what I thought. Okay. Sorry. Jesse Little, 22.8 average finish in the last 5 races for this year, and 23.74 average running position in the last 5 races this year. He needs a top 8 to pay off that salary, and he starts 15th. Alright, so he starts 15th, first of all. That's 7 spots lost, but he also needs a top 8 to pay off the salary, and he's been averaging a 22.8 average finish this year. I know none of them are short tracks, but, like, I don't see any reason, again, why. Like, DraftKings has been pricing by where they're starting now, which makes sense. I really like that. It makes it a little bit more difficult to make lineups. There's never any, like, just plug and plays. But these two salaries just don't make any sense. I just don't get the point of putting Jesse Little and Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 8K range. I mean, Michael Annett, I've never been a Michael Annett guy. I don't think he's that good, but he's better than these two. Speaking of Michael Annett, 8,000 starts 12th. It just doesn't have a lot of upside to me. He's got an average finish of 11.25, which ranks 10th. Average finish of 12.58, which ranks 11th at short tracks. Average running position of 4.125, which ranks 8th. That's for Bristol. Average running position of 13.65, which ranks 9th. That's for short tracks. 21.7 quality passes at Bristol, 23.5 at short tracks. He has an average finish of 14.6 coming in the last 5 races, and an average running position of 11.52 in the last 5 races. But Michael Annett that's not even a problem. Like, I just expect him to ride around 12, probably 10 through 15 range the whole day. But he needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. So I don't see the upside there. I don't really see him getting inside the top 8. It could happen. He is Michael Annett. He does have races where he, does pretty well, but I just don't think, even if he does get top 8, that's really not that high of an upside play. He's going to need a lot more than top 8 to really smash. So I don't think Michael Annett is the way to go here. Up next, we got Josh Williams. He starts 23rd, 7,900 on DraftKings. He has a 20.5 average finish at Bristol, which ranks 16th, an average finish of 19.2 at short tracks, which ranks 16th, an average running position of 22.475, which ranks 15th at Bristol, an average running position of 23.8 at short tracks, which ranks 17th, but the quality passes are not there, 1.25 and 3.25. I don't really like that. But he has been running pretty well in the season. Average finish of 13.8 in the last 5, average running position of 18.1 in the last 5. That one's not so hot. And he's been averaging about 10.25 quality passes. So he can drive up a little bit. But he needs a top 13, which is basically what he's at averaging for the season to pay off his salary. So I feel like he's really like a low upside guy. I don't think he has the potential to really get up a lot higher. But you never know. He's a decent driver. Like a few weeks ago, Josh Williams was priced up really high. And now he's back to where I think he should be. He's still maybe a little cheaper, I think, is what Josh Williams should be at. But I don't hate it. I don't hate the pick. I just don't think there's a lot of upside there. He's not someone I'm really looking to go for in tournaments, but I feel like he's a safe pick in cash games. There's just not, unless he wrecks, I just don't think there's a lot of things that can really go wrong with a Josh Williams play. It's just, if you want to win a tournament, I don't think Josh Williams is going to be in that lineup. Playing cash, he'll probably be solid, though. Brandon Brown, 7,700, starts 21st. Brandon Brown's this short tracks have not been a strength for him. 17.5 average finish, which ranks 14th. 20.2 average finish at short tracks, which ranks 17th. Average run position of 17.55, which ranks 12th. Average run position of 22.21, which ranks 16th. 14.5 quality passes and 7 quality passes at short tracks. But Brandon Brown has not been great at short tracks, but this year Brandon Brown's been running pretty good. Last 5 races, average finish at 8.8 and average run position of 15.44. And 22.25 quality passes. That's the one that stands out to me the most. He's got, like, if you look at Brandon Brown versus Josh Williams, I know Brown starts up 2 spots higher, but he definitely has done better at getting through the field. Brandon Brown's had a pretty solid year in the Xfinity Series. Just not someone people really talk about, but I mean, he's not going to be contending for the win or anything, but he's a potential top 10 car, and he also only needs a top 13 to pay off his salary. So I'd much rather play Brandon Brown just on the fact that coming into this race, he's got a way better average finish than Josh Williams, and he's not averaging at the average. So I feel like Brandon Brown can end up like really smashing this salary. I'm a little bit worried about his track history at short tracks, but Brandon Brown really hasn't done anything in his career until this year. He's having a good year. So I mean, maybe it's almost like, I mean, not to the same degree or extent, but like Alex Bowman, a lot of his stats in the Cup Series don't look as good from the past 2 years because he just hasn't been as good of a driver, and Hendrick hasn't been as fast. But this year, Alex Bowman's been one of the best drivers in NASCAR. So you just try to look more at what he's been doing this year versus how he's done at the tracks, and I feel like that is a similar case for Brandon Brown. So I do think this is a good driver to play, and there's really not a lot of plays I really like in the 7K range. So Brandon Brown is just not a bad play. If he hits that 8 average finish, he's going to smash his salary. So I really like Brandon Brown. I like him better than Williams. I think he has more upside. Up next we have Ryan Sieg. See, I love Ryan Sieg. I always want to play Ryan Sieg, but he always starting so high, and 5th place is just, like, Ryan Sieg doesn't really have a lot of potential to lead a ton of laps. Like, that's just not what he's going to do. He's always been a guy who can get you up in the top 5 to 10, and if he starts in the back, he's a good play to play. I played him a lot last year in Xfinity Series when I first started playing Xfinity Series, and he was good, but now he's just starting up high. I mean, he's got a good car, Colleague Racing, but, like, he's probably not even the best. He's probably, honestly, Allmendinger and Chastain are probably better than Ryan Sieg. Wait a second. I don't think Ryan Sieg raced for Colleague Racing. That's Haley. Never mind. Forget that. But I mean, just you can see ranks 12th at Bristol and average finish, ranks 13th at short tracks and average finish. Like, he's just gonna drop back. He's gonna finish top 10 to top 15, and Ryan Sieg, he needs to hang on to that top 5 position to pay off his salary. Like, I don't understand why Draftkings priced Justin Haley all the way down, starting 1 spot up, and left Ryan Sieg up here. If Ryan Sieg was priced for Haley's ad, it's a different story, but I don't think Sieg is really someone who you can really just trust all that much to do what you need to do to pay off that salary. Up next is Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst is an interesting one. He's never raced at Bristol in the Xfinity Series, but he has raced a few short tracks. He has an average finish at 8.5, which ranks 6th, average running position of 10.175, which ranks 6th at other short tracks. So Herbst has actually been pretty solid here, and I mean, he's in a Gibbs racing car, so like he's just not as talented. He's younger than these guys up here in the other like top tier Gibbs cars, but coming in, he's run well this year. 10.2 in the last 5 average finish, 8.94 average running position, 29.5 quality passes, and he literally needs to stay this spot to hit his salary. So if Riley Herbst like moves up to the top 5, which is definitely an real possibility in that car, which is really really fast, he's gonna hit really really good value for you because he's 7,500 and cheap. I've liked playing Riley Herbst every week because he is always so cheap and he does have potential to just ride around the top 5 all day. I don't see anything wrong with playing him. He may not be as high of an upside play unless he gets out front, leads laps, which is possible. Like, he's in that range of the drivers that lead laps, and he's in a good car. So maybe Herbst is a talented driver. As much as people want to bash him, he is a good driver. Maybe this is a race where he maybe breaks out. We'll see. I don't hate Herbst. I'm probably going to play some Herbst. I think you should too. Up next is Tommy Joe Martins. And Tommy Joe Martins having the race of his career, and he got in that really bad wreck at the end of Charlotte. That was sad to see, but I didn't play him, so I was okay with it. But, I mean, Tommy Joe Martins has actually looked pretty good this year. He's never been someone I've ever been excited to play, but this year he's looked good. And honestly, even at Bristol, he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been terrible. 27.66 average finish, ranks 23rd. 28.33 at short tracks, which ranks 23rd. 24.5 average running position at Bristol, which ranks 18th. Average running position of 26.81, which ranks 21st. That's average running position for short tracks. The quality passes haven't really been there, 3.33 and 1.66, but those are really only passed inside top 15, and you don't really need Tommy Joe Martins to get inside top 15. What we need from Tommy Joe Martins is a top 21. That's possible. It's in the realm of possibility. I mean, he has only ran average finish of 26, but at Charlotte, he was in potential to finish in the top 10. He had at least a top 15 car. He's had a good car, better car all year, so there's no reason to me why Tommy Joe Martins cannot finish top 21. He's not my best play, but you know you're gonna have to go down to this price range to find drivers. And Tommy Joe Martins is fine. I don't know. I might rather play Riley Herbst. There are different plays. Like one's a guy who can get you place differential. He's got a way safer floor, but Herbst has more upside. I don't hate the Tommy Joe Martins play. I wish it was a little bit cheaper, but I think it's going to still be okay at 7,300. I don't know if I can see myself getting to as much just because I might rather play Riley Herbst. I haven't looked at FanDuel or anything for Xfinity Series. I don't even know if FanDuel does the Xfinity Series. I've only played Cup over there. So if in that case, Tommy Joe Martins is probably a better play because there is no fast laps, but lap sled holds more responsibility over there, or more value. That's the right word. So then Tommy Joe Martins is probably a better play, but Herbst on DraftKings I think I'd rather go to. But I do think Tommy Joe Martins is fine. Bailey Curry, don't play Bailey Curry. DraftKings priced him up because he starts 33rd. But I don't even care about these stats. This year, Bailey Curry's been bad. 27.66 average finish, 28.9 average run position, 0 quality passes. Needs to finish top 20. There's no chance Bailey Curry finishes top 20. Myatt Snider, I don't understand why DraftKings keeps these RCR cars so cheap. I mean, Tyler Reddick won 2 championships in RCR cars. And even when they've come out, Snider and Alfredo have been running really, really well. And he always starts in the back. It's not like Myatt Snider starting in the top 10. He's starting 22nd. So at 7,000, all Myatt Snider needs to do is finish top 15. And look, he has an average finish of 5th coming in the last 5 races, which hasn't been 5 for him, but it's been like 3, I think. And he's got an average run position of 11.52, and he's got 17 quality passes. There's no reason why Myatt Snider can't finish top 15. There's no reason why Myatt Snider can't finish top 10. Myatt Snider wrecked last week, and he still finished top 10. Imagine what he would have done if he didn't wreck. He's a great play for me, and he's going to be chalk. Everyone knows that he's in a good car and that he's too cheap. I don't know why DraftKings continues to not price him and Alfredo up when they're racing, but that's fine by me. I'll keep playing him. I mean, I wish he was a little more expensive so he wouldn't be chalky, but he is going to be chalky. Hopefully he won't crash. It's fine play. Just play. I mean, like, he's Bailey Curry, who has had an average finish of 27.66 on the season, is more expensive than Myatt Snider in an RCR car in the Xfinity Series. That's ridiculous. All right, up next we got Joe Graf. Starts 36th place. He hasn't raced at Bristol, but he has an average finish of 16.5 at the short tracks, which ranks 14th, and an average run position of 17.05, which ranks 14th as well. So if he just finishes 14th, he's going to kill that salary. But I don't think that's really what's going to happen. He's averaged 24 average finish on the season and a 24.98 average run position on the season. He needs to finish top 23 to pay off that salary. I think he can. He's got a good floor. I've played Joe Graf in the last 3 or 2 Xfinity races. I don't see why you wouldn't go back to him. He's probably not going to be like a smash play or anything, but I think he does have upside. Look, 16.5 and 17.05 is pretty good. If he finishes in 16th place, he's going to absolutely destroy that salary. Everyone's going to want to play him. He's probably going to be chalk too, though. 6,900 starting 36 for someone who's not that bad. He'll probably be chalky, but that's okay. I don't mind Joe Graf here. I think he's fine. Matt Mills, 6,700, starts 31st. I don't really going to pay attention to these stats. He's a new car this year, which has not been running well. Average finish of 29. Average running position of 28.45. Needs a top 21 to pay off his salary. I don't see him getting there. Mason Massey starts 34th. He has an average finish of 26.66 on the season. Average running position of 29.833 on the season. He needs a top 21 to pay off that salary. Again, not really big on Mason Massey. So yeah, I mean, DraftKings did price up the PD guys, and now you also have Justin Haley at 6,300. I'm just confused. First off, if they're gonna put Justin Haley down here, you might as well put Ryan Sieg down here too. I don't understand why they did that. I understand pricing down the guys that start up front that probably aren't going to lead laps, but you don't price them down this much. Like the 6,300 for Justin Haley, who has an average finish of 7th, which ranks 3rd, an average at short tracks of 11.285, which ranks 9th. Average running position at Bristol hasn't been good, but he's been finishing pretty good, so that at least tells you something. Coming into this race, he's only got 12.2 average finish on the season, 9.04 average running position. That was good, but he does have 53.5 quality passes. And the thing is, Justin Haley can fall spots, and he still pays off his salary. He needs to finish top 8 to pay off his salary. I know that he hasn't really been averaging that, but if you're telling me that Justin Haley in a colleague racing car who has shown speed of Chastain cannot finish top 8, you're crazy. I'd rather play Justin Haley than Matt Mills and Mason Massey and Cody Vanderwall I'm about to talk about. I just don't get why. I understand pricing him down, but price him to 7,000, not 6,300. I'm interested to see what his ownership comes in at, because he could end up being just the biggest value play today. It's if Justin Haley, yeah, he's not any of these guys up here, but he can get out front and lead laps. He's in a good car and he's a good driver. It would not shock me if Justin Haley ended up being a dominator. I don't think it would happen. He's not my pick to be a dominator. I wouldn't pick him to be a dominator, but he could do it. He can end up being in a winning lineup, and I would not be shocked. Because you can fit in now 4 guys in the top 10 in the Xfinity series because of Justin Haley's 6,300. Ridiculous. I'm not complaining though. I think it's gonna be so interesting to see what his ownership's at. Cody Vanderwall starts 30th at 6,100. He hasn't been good this season. Average finish of 32 in the last 5. Average running position of 33.9. He needs a top 22. Don't play Cody Vanderwall. Joe Nemechek, it's just not someone you play because he just rides around the back the whole time and he starts 28th. Nothing important there. Stephen Light will start in park, as will Jeff Green. And the last driver I'm going to talk about is Timmy Hill, because I think all these guys down here start way too high to be played. If that's see, the Bassett's confused me. Dylan Bassett would be a good play down there. Ronnie Bassett, no. Timmy Hill starts 25th. I think he's the cheapest I'm willing to go on DraftKings this week for the Xfinity race. He has an average finish of 22.25, which ranks 18th at Bristol. Average finish of 31.27, which isn't that good at short tracks. Average running position of 23.95, which ranks 16th at Bristol. It's just you need, if you're gonna play Briscoe and Allgaier, you're gonna need to go get Timmy Hill. He's at an average finish of 26.25 and 24.275. He needs a top 21 to pay off his salary. It doesn't look good. Probably won't happen, but I think Timmy Hill has a little more upside than some of these other guys down here. I just don't. At least he starts 25th. Colby Howard isn't good. Vinnie Miller starts 14th. No way. B.J. McLeod isn't good. Emmerling starts too high. Bass starts too high. Fincham starts too high. Ware starts too high. Green will start in park. So my top dominator plays are definitely Harrison, Burton, Hemrick, and Cindric. Those are my favorite dominator plays, and I think Allgaier could, but I think he starts maybe a little too far back. My favorite mid-range plays are definitely gonna be Brandon Brown, Herbst, Snyder, and Joe Graf. Although Joe Graf's more of a puntish play, not really punt. He's 6,900, but cheap guy. And then Haley, that's probably it really down there, and I guess maybe Timmy Hill. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm going to post that in the description below. Also, my Instagram will be in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, please please comment, please subscribe, please turn on notification bells, anything. All that helps me really get out there. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a really good race today in the Cup Series and a really good one tomorrow. Good luck to everybody.